And we are recording. Welcome, everyone. This is your host, Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is sponsored by Inkforged. This is a fantasy tabletop RPG where you can imbue your weapons and gear with enchanted ink. This is a highly detailed, but easy enough to play, to understand. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. The Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products. They have recently released New Flesh, a future noir tabletop RPG where cyberpunk meets biological horror. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment as well. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Detri Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop RPG where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay what you want role playing game. You will find it in their website. You play as cybernetic nuns with guns that are looking for the pieces of their AI deity. You will find it in the links. The links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, let me maximize my size, make myself big. There we go. All right. Today, I'm going to talk about something that was inspired by a suggestion made by my friend and viewer, Yuri. He was curious about something that I mentioned in a previous video, the way of resolving combat with quick and classic. The lighting is sometimes pretty okay. It's because of the AI. But yes, quick and classic, excellent game by my friend David Shalazzi, excellent game designer. Quick and classic has this very simple way of solving combat and many other things, pretty much any task. Each character has a single ability. You don't have like many different stats. When it comes to resolution of tasks, you have a single ability value. And this ability value determines the die that you roll in combat, in explorations, investigations, social challenges. So let's say that you have an ability value of 4. You roll a d4 to solve tasks. But if you have an ability value between 5 and 8, then you roll a d6, and so forth. When combat starts, there is no initiative. The players describe the actions of their player characters, and the game master takes a look at the enemy. There is a difficulty value, and that is the roll that they have to make. A single die for the entire group, for the entire combat, no combat rounds, only in very few occasions when an enemy is really tough. Perhaps you need to succeed twice, thrice at most, 3 times at most. And of course, combat can prolong itself if you take damage. For example, let's say that you have a single combatant, you have a fighter, and he has a combat value of 4, and he encounters a couple of skeletons that have a difficulty of 3. He makes his roll. He missed. Now he takes damage, but he has another chance, another round to see if he scores. But let's say that you get lucky. You roll. You succeeded at your test. The skeletons have been destroyed. So you only need to describe your actions. If you have a single fighter against the skeletons, I step forward and swing my warhammer at the skull and ribs of the skeletons. What if you have 2 or more party members? Let's say that you have a thief. The thief has a combat value, let's say combat ability of 2, and your fighter has 4, right? 4 plus 2, 6. But you have 2 of them, so you have to average the ability because they could get into each other's way as they are fighting. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So you're still within the. You have this table. Let me see if I can get it because the lighting is not going to help. You see the table? That table. AI, don't do that. Don't do that, AI. Uh, uh, well, in that you get the AI. You get the picture. You have this table, and the values are tell you what you need to roll. If you have a compatibility of between 0 to 4, you roll a d4. If you have a compatibility of 5 to 8, that is, you have 5, 6, 7, or 8, you roll a d6, and so forth. So you have a better chance as you level up your ability. You have a better chance of matching the difficulty value given by the game master depending on the task. And Yuri was asking this because he was thinking about perhaps implementing such a system, considering it for his tabletop RPG. He has been designing it for a few years, so he wants to see if it works with his system. And it's very easy to understand. You just have a value. That value gives you a single die to roll. Each combat, the players describe the actions of their player characters, and as a game master, you take those actions into consideration. How so? So let's say that the party in total has a compatibility of 4. They can only roll a d4. But the fighter comes up with a brilliant tactic. He notices that there is this column, stone column, that is about to topple, and he mentions that he pushes the column into the three goblins in front of him. And the game master thinks, oh, that's going to cause a lot of havoc or mayhem, and perhaps one of the goblin dies crushed by the column. The game master considers that within the context, and now he adds a +1, perhaps a +2 to the value. And now instead of rolling a d4 because they have a 4 in their ability in total, they roll a d6 because the game master raised that ability because of the tactic to 5. Or maybe the spellcaster uses a spell. You have spells that raise your ability value, and now you get to roll a higher die up on the die chain. Typical dice chain, like for example, d4, d6, d8, etc. So sometimes you roll a d4. If you get a boost to your ability because of your tactics, your strategies, your spells, whatnot, it goes up to d6 and so forth. When you are a really epic hero, you've had many adventures. Maybe your combat value is now 14. You roll a d10, and if you use a spell, well, let's say it's 16. Let's say it's 16, and you use a spell, and it goes up to 17. Now you roll a d12. So it's very easy to adjudicate these bonuses and penalties. In my case, when there were like you can see here in my YouTube channel at the front, you will see the Dark and Terrible campaign. In the Dark and Terrible campaign, I used Quick and Classic to run it. Perfect system for quick games where you have these very complex settings and you want to simplify the system as much as possible. Quick and Classic is amazing for that. And sometimes, depending on the actions, I raise the ability to +1, +2. But some brilliant ideas that happened during the game. Then I said, well, I'm going to raise the die. I'm not even going to consider the table. I'm going to raise the die roll from d4 to d6, just like that. And so that's how one roll for the entire combat works. Usually, combats are resolved in a single combat round. But if you take damage, of course, it's going to take a few rounds. If you survive, let's say that you have the fighter and the thief and the wizard, and they failed their roll, they're going to take damage from the skeletons. Let's say if they're fighting skeletons, they because I imagined them fighting skeletons. So they take damage from the skeletons if they miss their roll, and now they have to make another roll to see if they survive, right? Or maybe they decide to run away, then you make another roll, a single roll for the entire thing. No combat rounds. There are going to be like initiative and it's your turn, then your turn, then your turn. No. In other cases, when the enemies are too strong, maybe you need to be successful at various combat turns, or rather combat rounds, because each roll encompasses many turns. So I hope this made sense. Thank you, Yuri, for your suggestion, for just suggesting this topic. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member or using the super thanks button. You can also check out the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, roleplay solves everything. Once again, thank you and see you later.